So in today's video, I will be doing a quick review of Shikanoin Heizou, the latest 4-star ANEMO character that we have gotten in the version 2.8 update right now. So it's been 2 days since he's been released. I have finally built him up, not fully, and I'll get to that, but to a pretty decent point. He's actually really easy to build and actually really easy to use, and he's actually a well-rounded character. And in my opening dialogue here, my opening intro, I feel that he is actually one of the best 4-star characters from Inazuma, hands down. As you may have recalled, if you have been following me, my opinion about most 4 stars is actually pretty low, especially the Inazuma ones. I don't really think that they're that great. Majority of them are not that great. Like Sayu was not great. Kuki Shinobu recently was not that great. Again, Kuki Shinobu moving forward might have more potential when we get to Sumeru and more Dendro reactions and such, but right now she's not that great. And then, you know, like Kujosara and Goro are very niche, they're very specific, they're to support their actual elemental characters that they support. So anyway, but Heizou here is well-rounded and fully developed, and he's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's perfect, but he's pretty good. So I highly recommend people to get him. I wouldn't say he's a must-pull character, but if you can get him, whether on the current banners for Kazuha or Klee, or in future banners, because he'll be added to the standard banner pool as well as to the regular off-rate banner pool for the regular characters, and also he'll have rate-ups in the future as well, whenever that will be. All right, let's get to it. Let's start reviewing this character. I think he's great, and he's really easy to use. So let's just start. I'm going to bring up the stats here. So he's not fully fleshed out. As you can see, I only brought him up to 79 and 80, 5 ascension levels out of 6. And that's usually what I do for most of my 4 stars, in case you're curious. See, like these characters, I just leave them at 5 out of 6 because I go for their acquaint fates that you get, the bonus. And for Kuki Shinobu, I brought her to 79 as well, so that's what I did for him. And some other characters that I like more, I bring them up further, but I don't want to use up too many of my resources. That's why I keep that in mind. Resource management is also a very important thing of this game. Okay, so here are his stats. So I didn't focus too much on EM for him, even though he is ANEMO, he does have swirling, but I want to bring attention to this because although you will be using a VV set on his artifact set, which I'll talk about right after, he's more of a DPS and sub-DPS build in my case, but you can build him for Elemental Mastery though, you can, and I'll talk about that. So I just want to quickly go over the stats here. I built him for obviously crits and for attack focus, so that's what we're at. You're wondering why there's all these resistance. It's because my team is a mixed match team, so we get that bonus, but that's not the case. Okay, for weapons, I previously did the weapon options for him video. Check that out if you're interested in the variety of weapon options. I'm not going to repeat too much of that because that was early on before he was released. Now that he's released, and even in his trial dungeon, they've been using the widsith. The widsith is hands down probably his best 4-star weapon. And you know, he shares a lot of similarity with Yaemiko, who I also gave a widsith to. So I farmed out the materials and I created a second copy for him. Luckily, I had an extra, R5 one sitting around, so I just built it up for him. I was initially going to build up this solar pearl for him. Not build up, sorry. I was going to give him the solar pearl, but I left it on Yanfei, which is fine. The other option I had said early on in that other weapons options video was that the Dodoko Tails was going to be a very good, viable option for him, and it still is. Because look at the passive. It's normal attack, charge attack. That's pretty much his base for his kit. So this is good, but it's just that it's an attack percentage one, and I wanted to focus more on crit, so that's why I decided to give him the widsith instead. If you have this from last summer's 1.6 Mid-Island Summer Adventure Klee event, this is a great weapon if you don't have the widsith. I think it's fine. And then, of course, the lostprayer, which is Klee's weapon currently on the current banner. This is also a great weapon. Again, he will be a DPS that's on field, so this weapon works for him because in order to get the maximum stacks for the passive, he needs to be on field to generate all the stacks because it's based on how many seconds you're on the field, right? So 4 stacks and every 4 seconds. So 4 stacks maximum, 1 every 4 seconds. So he has to be on the field. So this is a great weapon for him too. If you are going for it, I know a lot of players have commented that they got this weapon instead of Kazuha's weapon, and that's not a bad weapon. This is a pretty good weapon for any DPS catalyst user. So I will be doing a more in-depth discussion about like this weapon in a more neutral sense in another video later today. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, and then if you want to build him for like, he can use any catalyst basically. If you want to build him for energy, of course, this is an option that we got recently from a couple of patches ago for a free event weapon, the Osworn Eye. If you want to build him for EM, then Mappa Mare is okay, but people are saying that Sacrificial Fragments is also not bad because of the EM aspect and because he gets to proc his skill twice, and his skill, his elemental skill, is actually the majority of his damage. You're going to end up using that more than his burst. His burst is very strong too, but you're going to end up using, you're going to like using his playstyle more with normal charge attacks and elemental skill. That's what I've been using him. So I think Sacrificial Fragments is a great one for that option as well. And other builds, Blackcliff is great for a stat stick for crit damage, right? And then the Hakushin Ring is more of a niche build if you're going to put him in a taser comp, you know, and then, you know, of course, Thrilling Tales is fine, but he is good, you know, for being DPS or sub-DPS. This is more of a support weapon, so not necessarily for him. And then Frostbearer is a more niche option, so it's not really for everyone. And then I think we covered all of them, yeah. You would skip all the healing ones, so you would skip the Moon Glow, you would skip the Amber, and then of course this is something that people might have. This is not that great, although it has normal and charge attacks. If you're free to play and just started the game, this is okay. I will be honest here, when I first started the game, I didn't know that this was not that good, so I did level this up to an extent, and I did use this initially. The only problem with it is only 50% chance, and it's not that great. But it's a good early game if you're really just starting out and you have nothing else, then fine, this would work for him. Yes, but eventually you'll replace this. I think we covered them all. Favonius, of course, energy recharge, any of those is going to be fine. Okay, moving along, our artifact set. So a 4-piece Viridescent is going to be his best. I originally questioned this beforehand, and I was only going to do a 2-piece, which I did start him off with a 2-piece and 2-piece Gladiator. That's also viable, or any of those other arrangements like Shimenawa or the Vermilion, or any of those ones that gives 2-piece plus 18% attack. That's fine too, right? But a 4-piece Viridescent is fine, perfect here, and I had to move some pieces around. I took some from like Sayu because I don't use her, and Sucrose, I don't use her. So that's how I built this up. So let's just get into it. So you want to focus on crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, elemental mastery, and energy recharge. So again, because I'm doing a crit and attack focus build, a damage build, so it's attack here, and it's ANEMO here. I had to rebuild several ANEMO pieces to get this one. If you don't have an ANEMO in here, just do attack, and that's fine. Or if you wanted to get some elemental mastery in there, that's okay. But yeah, I mean, attack is preferred if you want to build him as an attacker. And then crit rate or crit damage here is fine. As you can see, I did not farm heavily for the Viridescent sets. I don't have that many pieces, so I had to steal from other characters. Also, I did try to go and farm it a few more times prior to his release. I wasn't successful to get good pieces, so this is what we have to work with. So it's okay. Constellation-wise, the title of this video is C0, and I stand by that. I did the polling video for him on day 1 when he launched after the update, and I did get him C0. But then after that video, I threw a few more wishes in, and I was lucky, and I got one more constellation. I already activated it. This first constellation really just gives him one initial stack to start, so it just gives you a head start. It's not like it's gonna make or break the game. It's not gonna so that's why I'm still entitling this video as C0, but C1 just gives you a little bit of a head start because he gets one stack off the bat, okay, for his, elemental skill. C2 will make his polling effect a little stronger and, just duration lasts a little bit longer by 1 second. C3 adds 3 levels, to his elemental skill. C4 will regenerate more energy for him, basically, whenever he does his Windmuster kick during the explosion part of his burst, basically, and then the subsequent second part of the burst. And then C5 will be adding 3 levels to the burst, and C6 will then add crit rate and crit damage increase when you're doing his skill. So all of his constellations are pretty decent, but you are fine with him at C0. I stand by that. He is fine at C0. Talent-wise, okay, you want to focus on his skill, as at least that's how I've been playing with him. I've been playing him out and testing him out in the Trials Engine and also with my own version of him. I really like using the combinations between normal attack, charge attack, and elemental skill. The burst is nice. His burst rate, the energy cost is only 40, so it's really short and really quick. So that's fine, and he gets a lot of energy back anyway. But I would say, I would focus on the skill. and focus on the normal attack. Don't sleep on the normal attack because you do need the normal attack in order to build the skill as well. There's two ways to build the charges for this. You can hold down it to charge, or that takes too long because that does take a while. Or you can just hit a couple of normal attacks to build it up as well. Again, with C1, you get one charge off the bat, so it's not so bad. It's just a head start, really. This is also not bad. It's not super low damage, but it's not super high damage either. It's actually pretty decent. But when this is charged up to full stacks, this is very strong. Again, it's not the highest damage in the game, but it is pretty good for a 4-star character. Moving along, this one will just give you, whenever he activates a swirl reaction, he'll gain back 1 stack for his skill. So that's a nice to have for if you wanted to do more stacks for elemental skill recycling and for repeated spamming. This one, again, whenever it hits, so his elemental skill, see, a lot of it's geared towards skill. So when his skill hits an opponent, all party members, excluding him, will gain an 80 elemental mastery bonus for 10 seconds, which is nice. It's not the highest in the game. Sucrose gives way more bonus. If you have a Kazuha C2, he'll give way more bonus too, for example, and other characters will give way more bonus, like Mona, etc., etc. But this is not bad, okay? For a 4-star character that you can pretty much use right out of the box at C0. This last one is just increasing stamina consumption, decreasing stamina consumption for sprinting. All right, so pretty standard stuff. For party builds, he's pretty good with everybody except for Geo because there's no like reactions with Geo, but he's really good. And you'd want to give him characters that can proc his swirling here and there with his hits. So I paired him up with Raiden Shogun because her E will do the thing. And then I'm just using Mona here because she'll help me break the shield for this boss. So let's get to it. We're going to do that boss over there, obviously. So we're just going to do that. And then we're going to switch to Mona, and then we're going to break the shield, and then we're just going to switch to Shikanoin Heizou right after this, so we'll break the shield first. Okay, we'll do this, and see, we're going to build up the stacks, and then we're going to just slam it. It's not horrible, it's not the best, but it's pretty good, right? And then, like, I like his rotations overall, it's pretty good. And then, yeah, we're going to do the explosion as well. It's pretty good, I would say. See, and then that nice punch at the end was pretty good. And of course, I start off with 1 stack lit up already, but yeah, he's a really great character, guys and girls. Don't sleep on this character. Hopefully, I wish you guys all the best of luck to get him. If you can get his constellations, obviously he'll become better, but he's really good at C0. He's by far, in my opinion, one of the best 4-star characters that Inazuma has to offer since Inazuma became available for like the last 6 months or a year, basically. So I think he's a great character, way better than the other 4-stars out there. I would be happy to use this character. I will fully develop him further. I just didn't have the resin right now, but I would bring these up to 8 or 9 even. I'd be happy to bring him up to all 9s. And I wouldn't crown any of them though, but I would bring him up to 9s or at least 8. Basically for all of them, and then that will just increase his damage further. I hope you guys enjoyed this. In my next video, I'm going to be doing an updated review for my Kazuha because I rebuilt him and I made him different, basically. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, and leave me comments and let me know if you guys are got Shikanoin Heizou or if you're planning to get him and if you liked him or not. I think he's really good. So I'll